I mean, I remember one weekend where I ran Saturday morning, and then I had to run again Saturday night, and then I had to run Sunday morning, and then I ran again Sunday night. And I was like, she's trying to kill me. But I felt so confident that I was well trained going into Cozumel. And that was like a wonderful feeling. And so that's where I.
Looks like we're live, everyone. Ironman and beyond athletes. I am so excited to introduce you, Katy Freitag. Oh, I should have asked you earlier. Sorry.
Because half the family says Freitag and half says Freitag, so both are correct.
And then the middle name is also hard. There you go, Katy. And she's Katy. There you go, Katy. She's from Minnesota, and what I wanted to share to you is that I've actually known Katy for 2 years now. And ever since we started coaching, I asked her about, Katy, what do you really want to achieve? So, that was the first question. And she said to me, I want to beat my personal record in full Ironman. I said, like, okay, what's the time? And she said 15 hours. And I said, 15 hours? And I look at the split. Katy, that's so doable. But then there's this catch, which she didn't tell me until like later. But coach, I want to beat the personal record that I got before the surgery. So now when she was talking to me, it was actually post-surgery. So correct me if I, like the timing and timeline, but I know that you had 2 ACL and meniscus surgery. Is that right?
That's right.
Both left and right.
Yes.
I was looking at the image of that surgery. It was scary, that's why I'm not a doctor. But yeah, but before we dig into it, let me introduce you. So Katy's in Minnesota, and we get a chance to talk to her how she actually beat her Ironman personal record. Not just beat, actually, she placed 11th in her age group. And honestly, when we were training, it was more of like, let's do our best. We did not aim for what the end result is. Actually, on each training, I just want her to be injury-free, happy, especially with the running. But so, that's the end result. And that was in Cozumel. Other than that, before, during the training, besides the Ironman, she beat her half marathon personal record in Alaska. She also placed, which also was unexpected, but she kicked butt. She actually placed second in her half marathon. And when she placed on that,
the full marathon at Hilly. Yeah, that was
Hilly full marathon. And there was drizzle, there was rain. It was, she was even having blister, but she still placed second because let me see what else. And she also, correct me if I remember correct too, also, Katy, that you also qualified to race the World Championship Nationals. Is that right?
At Lifetime Tri.
There you go. I wanted to make sure I get that right.
New York City.
There you go. And I think all those things, I mean, these happened post-surgery, during when we were actually training for the full Ironman Cozumel, which was her A race. So now those are her achievements. And I only actually mentioned to you guys that, about the surgery. The other one that she also had been experiencing is actually exercise-induced asthma. That, I'm going to just itemize it. She also disliked running. And in fact, at the time, she was afraid of running, and we'll get into like why she's afraid of it. Like, how does it affect her training? She definitely was, one of those athletes who's technologically challenged. So those are the things. But yeah, so before we get into those details, Katy, going back to the Ironman, you already did a full Ironman before you met me. But then you came back after post-surgery and you told me you want to beat your PR. First of all, like, why did you want to do that to yourself? So what was in your mind? What was the process? Some people would say like, well, the doctor did this and they said don't do this, especially, you know, with that kind of surgery. So what was the thought process, Katy?
Well, I think it is true. Sometimes doctors put limitations on us that are not ones that are really true. You know, the first doctor I saw to fix my knee actually said, why do you even bother fixing it? You know, why don't you, you're middle-aged, you're in your mid-50s.
Oh my goodness.
Seriously, why don't you just, you know, not
Sit
do
and
Ironman
chill.
or
Couch.
chill, you know, and just be more reasonable in your activities. And I looked at him and I'm like, that's not what I want. That's not what I'm going to do. So I went and got a different doctor.
So second doctor.
Yeah. And the second doctor that I got was actually one that specializes in helping athletes.
Oh,
So
okay.
I wanted to focus on one that specializes with athletes.
That's
And
important.
he did a great job. And he also referred me to a really good physical therapist. And she had done Ironman. And so that
Perfect.
really helped too. So I say the first tip I have for people that have injuries and such is work with people that understand what your
Where you're
goals
coming
are
from.
and don't put limitations on you that aren't necessary. That was the first thing. Now, why on earth I wanted to do this to myself, I still don't quite understand, other than
And actually even beats your PR. I mean,
yeah,
you're like, you have a high goal. Like you just had the surgery and like, you know what, I'm going to beat my PR and better than the time that I got before the surgery. So why?
well, part of it was that I knew that I was getting better at the swimming
Okay.
and the biking. And so I believed that I could improve more on that. And so when I
Okay.
worked out the timing, I thought,
Ah.
I think I could do better as long as we could figure this run thing out, which, you know, I need somebody to help me with this run thing. And
Run
because
thing.
I think that it's possible. And if you believe that it's possible, then you can make it happen if you work with the right people. And that's where your coaching came in.
Gotcha.
So
So
grateful.
mention about the running.
Yeah.
You know, I love running. So we are like kind of like the opposite.
I love swimming.
Actually. But yeah, so I mean, when did it start the fear of running? Was it when you were a kid or
Yeah,
something
it
happened or
started
just
when I was a kid because that's when I experienced my first asthma. And I still
oh
remember in grade school when they would make you run and I couldn't breathe. And I hated it because I could not breathe.
yeah.
And so that made me very fearful. Later in life,
Wow.
they started to work with me for the exercise-induced asthma, but I still found that when I tried to push myself too much, it was hard to breathe. And then the second reason I was scared was I was scared of screwing up my knee. I mean, I was
Okay. Because you
legitimately
already
scared, yeah, post-surgery of like, what if I
it
do
happens again.
something wrong and I can't, you know, do anything.
It's like
So
a double sword because you were, I mean, listening to you, it sounded like you were traumatized, like, you know, because I mean, you were afraid, like, what if something happened to you because you cannot breathe, right? And then your teacher's probably like, run, run, run. I'm like, I can't breathe. And you still have to run.
yeah,
And then having, you know, like the surgeries that you had.
yes.
So, but then you still wanted to do the Ironman, which is actually, if you know, it's full marathon, but you still wanted to do it, and actually, you're still doing it.
Yep.
So when you're afraid of something, because I know the running was big, right? When you are afraid of something, like now, how do you overcome that fear? Like how? I mean, are you still afraid of running?
I don't think I'm afraid of it anymore. I think it's
Okay.
fair to say that I am careful
Oh,
still.
okay.
So
Gotcha.
I know that there are certain conditions, like when it's the allergy count is high, when the humidity is very high, where I have to be cautious.
Gotcha.
And I try to do a speed set or push myself
Sure.
at that point, I know that I've got a risk of struggling with the breathing. Like
Yeah.
Cozumel, unfortunately, we happened to have a very,
I
very
know.
hot, humid day where it was like in the 90s and humid for the bike, and it didn't improve at all for the marathon.
Yeah.
And so I had to like run and then walk to be able to breathe again. And so I was frustrated by that because I was like trained up by you to do like a really fast marathon, and my knee did great. It was not a problem at all, but my breathing was such that I did have to take walk breaks and
Yeah.
keep that inhaler on me to make sure that I
Yeah.
could manage it.
Yeah. Well, you actually said that one inhaler wasn't enough, and
It
you
was
needed to actually
it was on
get
the end
another
of
one.
yeah. I had
Yeah.
to go to the second one, which is not ideal, but it was necessary in the
Yeah.
condition. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we actually have awesome people here. Alicia, hello. Wendell, Christina, how you doing? If you guys are listening live, just hashtag live. If it's replay, hashtag replay. We have Katy here. All right, cool. So yeah, so there's a combination with the exercise induced asthma and at the same time with the fear of running. They kind of like their tag along. But then at the same time, I do think, I mean, it wasn't just the Ironman. I mean, almost, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, almost all your running races.
I had I can't think of any good ones I had because I seem to keep hitting like the lifetime try.
Sure.
It was also a hot, humid day, and so I did struggle with it at that point. I had such a good swim and bike though that I had a little bit of leeway, when we got to the run. But
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
still frustrated because the
Yeah.
asthma was bothering me on the
Yeah.
run.
Is that something that throughout the training, you have been able to work it out in terms of mindset? Like,
Yeah,
there are things like, because it happens almost all the time or almost always, that you're like, okay, there's like early symptoms. I'm about to have this asthma.
right,
I'm have to do this. Like more of proactive because it's there, but it doesn't stop you from
correct,
actually doing something that you really wanted to do.
right, right. I mean, like one of the
It's a
things
learning process, I would
learning
think.
process, I had to figure out what is the timing of when to use the inhaler and how hard can I push myself before it becomes unsafe, and so because I wanted to stay in the safe category always.
Of course, yeah.
Would it be my knee or my breathing? I had to stay in the safe category, but I also want to know what's the most that I'm capable of without this being, a limiting factor. And so what I
Yeah,
found is like today in Minnesota, it's 50s and cool. And
sure.
so
It's
it's
like,
very
that's good.
easy. Yeah, I was, and
You
there's no,
love it.
so for running, I ran earlier today. I know that shocks you. I ran voluntarily.
I know.
And it was easy to push the pace for me.
Okay.
I'll never be fast like you are, but I was able to push my pace, and
Yeah.
because I knew that I wasn't going to have struggles with breathing today.
Yeah. 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 That's,
Later,
I love it that you just ran. How many miles or how long did you run today?
I just ran a 10K today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
No.
But you still ran. How did it feel afterwards?
Awesome. I was very proud of myself after, but no, I didn't enjoy it.
Aww. So you did it. So what was the reason for running? Was it because it was just, hey, I'm gonna run. I feel like running. Or
Well,
maybe subconsciously you do enjoy it. That's why you did it.
nope. I signed up to do grandma's marathon because my kids.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
My kids decided that they want to do the first ever endurance. They've never done anything. So my daughter wants to do the half and my son wants to do the full.
Gotcha.
So
Here
I'm not going to go there and not have.
We have another individual. Liz, how are you, Liz? Good to have you. So now I think one of the things that actually help you out too is just being present when you are training, because you wouldn't know what's coming up. Right. Or like how you prepare, like proactively know what you're gonna do if you're not being present, when if you have not learned to actually really listen to your body. Are those one of a couple of your strategies to actually get that strategy? Like how do we overcome this? I still want to do it.
I have to say too, especially you helped me considerably with that in terms of doing the body maintenance and the different exercises with that.
Sure.
Because I learned to pay attention to the small things. My tendency would probably be to just ignore the pain until it was so much of a problem that, I couldn't do anything. And
hello, people, you heard her.
Taught me to pay attention, and to do all of these exercises. And so I still do that to this day, as I try to make sure I'm doing the mobility and the maintenance and the strength.
Yay, she learned a lot.
Yeah, I did.
She mentioned something, body maintenance. You're going to hear body maintenance with a lot of athletes I've coached. Basically, for those who are just heard the body maintenance, it's not something that you would read or heard from other coaches. I would say, actually, I put that name. It's more of being proactive of something or a possible issues that you may experience during training or race. And what I would like, because my intention is for the athletes to be happy. Now, if you're in pain, you're not happy.
Right.
There are things that you can actually feel after, and that's being reactive. So now once you feel something and after the fact, and then oh, okay, you're going to recover, right? And then now what we do with all the athletes I've coached is that, okay, what do we need to do to actually prevent that from happening again? Then now we go to like being proactive. And then the body maintenance is more of a combination of recovery, strength, mobility, knowing the trigger points, knowing how your body feels. Okay, so, and also how I tell the athletes is more of like, treat the body maintenance just like you're brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth when you start hurting. You gotta brush your teeth every single day or every after meal also. So there you go. Quick coach on that one, body maintenance. So you are still doing that?
I am. Yeah, it's made a huge difference for me.
Perfect.
I think even if I weren't training for something like a marathon right now,
yes,
I think that's always going to be a part of my life.
I'm so happy.
It's such a difference in terms of how I feel if I keep those things up. And if I let them slide a little bit, then I don't feel as good. So
you're going to feel like so old.
Yeah.
Be so stiff. No, it's the same on mine, actually. It's the same on mine. I have to do it. And if I don't do it, then it's pretty tough. So now let me see. So well, going back to when you started, and then now there's this Ironman Cozumel. Yeah. How did you feel like after all the training that you did? Okay. I gave you a lot of hard workouts on the running. And you still remember? Okay, before we let's go back. What do you remember some of the hard run workouts that you were enjoying?
Yes.
Oh my God, look at her. She's like,
I'll never forget it. I'm really proud of myself, first of all, because you did make me work really, really hard. But I wanted to, because I wanted to do well, you know.
Sure.
But leading up to it, I remember one weekend where I ran Saturday morning, and then I had to run again Saturday night, and then I had to run Sunday morning, and then I ran again Sunday night. And I was like, she's trying to kill me. But I felt so confident that I was well trained going into Cozumel. And that was like a wonderful feeling. And so that's where I just put my trust in you. I was like, what she's giving me is going to help me be ready for this. And so I'm going to do what she wants me to do, even though I think she's crazy. Because I was like, I don't even like running, and I'm running twice a day. So it worked. It really did.
Let me see. That's funny. So I'm laughing because she's telling that story, and that was 2 years ago. And she still remembers that particular weekend, which reminded her, which is actually good. So, whenever you actually have something like Cozumel, it's so hot, you will remember, oh, I did something way much harder than this.
Right. Right.
And the intention really is, with me, depending, of course, the level of the athletes and the expectation and the goal of the athlete, how willing the athlete to work hard and be coached, is that the training is harder than the race.
Right. I mean, if I told you I just want to finish, I think we would have been doing some things,
I know. I'm just going to make it chill. Recovery week every week. And also the main reason is because I want the athlete to actually enjoy. I want you to enjoy the race, because the race will be hard, right? Yeah. I mean, you already have the exercise-induced asthma. I mean, you did well on the swimming. The bike, you were already having asthma, right? On the Cozumel.
The bike, the swim was the best swim I've ever had. Mm-hmm. And for anyone that's looking for an Ironman, that is a stunningly beautiful swim with the fish there and everything.
Yeah, you can watch it.
And you actually helped me improve my swimming. I mean, I continue to be a faster swimmer now than what I was then. I've always loved it, but you made me faster.
Wow.
And the biking, I got, better too. And so I had a really good bike ride, even though it was hot and humid and people were falling over and ambulances were coming. I mean, it was a brutal day for people out there, but I had that really good, you got me set up with my hydration and my nutrition, and we practiced it. And I had that high electrolyte drink that I still use when I need it. And so I was really prepared for that. And so when we got to the run and it hadn't cooled off at all, I was like, it just figures,
So I wanted to ask you, I mean, since you mentioned about the swimming, you are in Minnesota, and I would have loved to actually have coached you in person.
Yes.
And you said that you got faster under coaching.
Right.
I want to ask you, like, what are those work ethics? What did you do in terms of the swimming portion?
Whatever you told me to do. So you videotape me, and then you had me do a lot of the skill workouts.
Yes. Okay,
some of the skill workouts I had already, I knew some of the drills, but like the sculling, I remember the first time, I had
sculling, everyone.
Yeah, the sculling. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. Yeah. So I really, and then after you videotape me, or I sent you the video, talked about it. Then I practiced what, you found in the video. And I know I was averaging around, 210 for, was my normal before you started with me. And
I remember
my 100 after was more like 150. And
it was really good.
A little bit more. So it was a big improvement.
Yeah. And the video it was actually at the lake, one of the videos, so at the time it was just the lake also, like we were just doing what we have, like whatever we can do. Well, I'm really, really happy about that, because one of the reasons, like, other people like, oh, I need to see a person in, like in person.
Right.
But we can do so many different things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we haven't been able to meet yet in person. I hope we do someday.
I know. Yes. So let's see. Wendell actually said, Wendell is one of the athletes I've coached. Wendell, body maintenance has become a daily routine for me. Thank you, Coach. He did the V Everesting, which is 29,000 on a trainer, and he's like, yes, body maintenance. It sounds simple, but it will go a long way. Longevity in training and racing. So now let me see. So where are we at now? So what are when you were training, did you have any doubts of yourself or like concerns during the training?
I would say mentally I'm pretty strong. That's one of my strong suits. I've never been a real good athlete. I'm not a natural or anything. I have to work hard at things.
Sure.
What I had going for me is that I'm willing to work.
Yes.
And mentally I'm strong. I always had doubts. I always thought, how on earth does she think that I'm going to do that? You always believed in me way more than I believed in myself. And you were never surprised by what I was able to. I'd be like, oh my gosh, look what I just did. I can't believe
You're excited, actually.
And I was all excited about it. And you're like, of course you did. And you're going to do even better. And I was like,
really?
You believed in me more than I believed in myself, I would say. Absolutely.
And I think that's also a boost of confidence. Sometimes I do think, I mean, not just you, I myself felt it also, like sometimes we are the biggest critic of ourselves. It's never enough. Or like,
and I was also very fortunate because my husband is very supportive, and he was always like, you could do it,
Yes.
I've been in a position in life where I haven't had that kind of support, and so I was very, very fortunate to have a really supportive husband who said, I believe I think he's right. Coach is right. You can do this.
Yeah. Can anyone relate on this? Support system is very, very, very important. Although sometimes in the beginning, it may be like conflict with others, family members, they don't understand. You know what? That could be like communication, or maybe you're not sure yourself, right? But when you show to your family members, I am sure, I'm confident, this is what I want, this is what I love, this is what's going to make me happy. hopefully, they will see. But so far, as what Katy said, support system is really, really important. Let me see. So now we're about to end, but I wanted to ask you, for those athletes, just like you, let's say they just had a surgery, or even maybe not surgery, maybe having asthma or some other physical challenge, right? You did have trauma or fear on running. I mean, there's so many different things that you would have said, like, no more Ironman.
Right.
What would you tell them?
Well, I'll tell you, I even have a recent,
Yeah,
just from this year, even,
sure.
I got diagnosed with chronic kidney disease.
Are you serious? Wow.
Yes, it was a complete surprise. And the first doctor I talked to said, well, I don't know that you should do anything more than a moderate, 45-minute workout, etc. So I went, I found the best nephrologist I could, who just, and I was ready to say I'm done, and not do any more endurance work if that was what was necessary, if it would shorten my kidney life. But this nephrologist said, absolutely not. This exercise is really, really good for you, and I want you to do it. And what I want you to do, including the endurance, that's not a problem. He says that I have one caveat. He says you have to stay hydrated. So I've had to change my diet. I have no salt in my diet, and I have to stay hydrated. And so I think I do a pretty good job of that anyway, but I've doubled up on it. Some of the things you taught me, like with weighing in before and after workouts to see where I'm at. So the first thing the first thing I tell people is, don't always take what the first doctor tells you to be the end of the story. Go to a specialist. I always want you to be safe. I want everybody to be safe and be smart about it, but go to the best expert that you can and see what they have to say. If they say, no, you shouldn't do this, well, then obviously, no, don't do it. Don't hurt yourself. Sure. But if they say, no, it is reasonable to do it, then I'd say the second thing you need to do is get the best coaching you can do, and particularly one that you do, coach, that understands so well about if you have a limitation, how do you take care of it so you're safe, always safe, but that you can still reach your goals with someone what you're doing.
Someone who can be honest to you.
Yeah.
Straight out,
That's right.
Like, no sugar coating.
Yeah.
Just straight out. Yeah.
So, I mean, I was really
those are important
with a great physical therapist that really helped me recover post-surgery, and I worked hard on it. But then I was blessed by you helping me go to that next level, because without that, I would have never gone to that next level. Awesome. While always making me feel like we were staying safe and respecting my body and what my body limitations were. So we were doing it in a safe manner.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what I like about, Katy, everyone, is that yes, she's a go-getter. She will do whatever it takes to get the goal. She's a hardworking. She has a strong mindset. But these are the same qualities that a coach would need to watch also, because they could be the one, like these are, they could be the one who could actually get them in trouble.
Right.
And, the support system would be the one who's honest and understanding, like, Katy, I know you want your goal, and I want that too, but I want you to be continuously doing what you love doing long term. Exactly. It's not about just that year. I want to see you like growing older and you're still doing Ironman, right? So longevity in training and racing, definitely. So you mentioned about, yes, you did the training, right? And the next thing is the nutrition, and then the body maintenance, mindset, definitely a racing strategy.
Yes.
We touched base. So those are the 5 things that I would suggest everyone address. Those 5 things, not just the training. Yes, body maintenance is important, but she mentioned nutrition, and she mentioned about how to actually find out the dehydration, which is like the overall health. Yeah. She's giving a lot. Is there anything else that like tips besides that, in terms of, like, let's say, like just going for that big goal, even though you're have fear? Like, how about overcoming fear?
So that's where the books, the Champion's Mindset,
Yes.
I love that book.
Yeah.
And then also David Goggins' book. I get such a kick out of that. I've listened to that on audio tape like 3 times now.
Oh, okay,
so
good.
Really, really helped, because even though I have a pretty positive mindset and I'm pretty strong, even I would, succumb to times where I just didn't believe that I could do it. And those books are amazing. They're really good books. And I still keep them on my Audible and listen to them on a regular basis. So that really helps mindset.
Yeah, I still have my own mindset myself. I mean, like, everyone's just going through the same thing. So, all right. Anyone else have a question? If you guys have any questions, just make sure to comment down below. And Katie's actually in the group. She's in Minnesota. You can say hi, hello. And also, if you're ready to get your big goals, just raise your hand also, and let's see how we can help you. And from there, I think, Katy, thank you so much. I know you're in Minnesota. So good to have you and to share like all this good tips, especially coming from you. So really, really, really appreciate your time.
So grateful to you and everything you did for me, for my coaching. And if it helps one person, I'm more than willing to talk to anyone at any point if it helps them.
That's so nice of you.
No, but I thank you, because you've made a huge impact, not just on my training, but on my life. And I'm grateful. I hope someday I get to meet you in person.
I know. There you go. But my heart is all for you. I love you. Thank you so much, Katy. And I'll be in touch. Bye.
Bye-bye.